Time is ticking away. We are in a hurry, so we have to move on. The next speaker comes from a country which is like innovation hub. It has excellent AI business model. So I'm pleased to welcome to the stage the Prime Minister of Albania, His Excellency Edi Rama, and the founder of Future 500, Mr. Stjepan Orešković. Welcome to the stage.
Your Excellency Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. You are always a guarantee that there will be attention. And I think we can agree about American politicians one thing. They are not boring. And we have a Prime Minister here who is really among few in Europe that is really also not boring.
I hope not for the same reasons as them.
I said we can agree one thing about American.
Yeah.
So let's start with something that I think it's important for everyone in the room for the various reasons. When you read Draghi's report, it's a good document, but reading it carefully, you would find two things inside. And usually the most important things are those that are missing. What is missing is the report does not mention a single time a word entrepreneur. And then another topic, the report mentions only once Central and Eastern Europe. And the Central and Eastern Europe was in the last 10 years the strongest engine of growth, outpacing other parts of Europe double, 2 times. So when I was listening to you all these years, reading and following, and we met first 2005 in your office when you became a mayor, I was always wondering why you politicians and also countries from Central and Eastern Europe are so submissive when talking with Brussels and with big powers. And you are the example of not being submissive. I was sometimes wondering this guy would never enter in EU because how he talks with the Brussels. So can you comment on that first?
Well, it's a quite complex question you put me. But I want to say that when it comes to us and to me representing my country, it's a bit different because, for example, if the Slovenian Prime Minister would say whatever he thinks about Brussels, I don't know exactly what he thinks, by the way, but whatever he thinks, he has a lot to lose. We don't. And so we have to be very open. And on the other hand, beyond what we say and beyond what we express, our loyalty is never questioned. So we are somehow Western Talibans in Albania, and we follow because we have a clear idea of our size, of our weight, and also of our challenges. As Europeans, we want to be free and we want to express freely what we think. But then when it comes to following Europe, we are very, very loyal followers. And by the way, for example, our foreign policy is 100% aligned with the EU foreign policy since ages. And we have never wavered and never even questioned, because we are somehow blind when it comes to loyalty, and we have been so with everyone, with the Ottomans, with the Soviets, with the Chinese, when we say we are with you all the way, and I'm sure that we'll be with EU even if EU will disappear. So it's a matter of loyalty. And then when it comes to the Central Eastern Europe, I want to believe that the report saw Europe as a whole and didn't want to separate. I want to believe, but maybe I'm wrong. So I think that bottom line, when it comes to these initiatives, to the initiative of yours and to our relation with the entrepreneurs in general in Europe and in our country, there is a problem in two layers, I guess. First is always the problem of looking at the entrepreneurs like not like complementary, but like contradictory to what the state and what the government has to do. And the second layer, which is even more problematic and more dangerous for the future, is that unlike in the United States or in other realities, we are not used in Europe to have an entrepreneurial state. So basically we are all about more money from the budget, more spending, more debt, more money, more spending, more debt, more money, more spending, and when there is no much to do with the debt, then we are blocked. Instead, we have to do everything to give to the institutions, the ministries, the whole executive power, the message that they also have to behave in an entrepreneurial way, and they have to join the entrepreneurs and together make money for them, for their own interests, and the institutions for the public interests.
Couldn't agree more, because if you look, China and United States, it's a kind of different story. They are our competitors, but it's the same story. Entrepreneurs and scientists are the guys that are the most important, unless the president don't like them. But we had a dinner with Marta Kos yesterday night, and she was mentioning Albania as one of real favorites to join EU very soon. It was Chatham House rule, so let me not quote when, but it's definitely very soon. So briefly, what would you bring to the table as Albania?
Well, you could quote when, because at the end Marta wants to do it, but yes, let's hope that the others will agree with Marta when the moment comes. And this is not obvious, because at the end of the day, Europe is like a patient with 27 doctors, all pathologists, by the way, which makes it even more complicated to address the problems in every organ. So. And going back to the Chinese, there is something positive in that, I believe. Not in the sense that they don't like the entrepreneurs, but in the sense that their tradition, thousands of years, is very clear about that. So even 2,000 years before, in China, politics and business were separated in the sense that business people were not allowed to make politics and to enter in politics and to be politicians. Not bad. On the other hand, I believe that we are on the right track. I believe that thanks to Vladimir Putin, we are closer to enter the European Union, because if, unfortunately, the war of aggression in Ukraine would not have happened, I don't believe that Europe would have woken up to turn the words in deeds, because they always said your future is in Europe, your future is in Europe, and in a moment in time became like the blue version of the red communist version. Our future is in heaven, our future is in heaven, but in the meantime we have to endure hell. So this changed, and now it's up to us to do our job, and not for Europe, but for us. Because I always say what I have always believed, that the most beneficial part of entering this family of countries and states is that it makes you change for good. So it's easy to be inside and to say, oh, but why you want to come in? It's so difficult, it's so this, so that. It's a bit like the marriage, no? But until you marry, you fight for it like hell. And whoever is married and tells you, hey, take it easy, it's not what you expect, it doesn't make you change your mind. So I would say to everyone that is within the European Union to try and be more happy with, because it's a very good place, everyone is. And for sure the problems in Europe are not related to the fact that Europe is a union, but to the fact that the union needs to be stronger and that many things have to change. So the pathologists have to a bit specialize, and then one should be the cardiologist, one should be the God forbid oncologist, and so on and so further. So to have a whole union that takes care very well of the whole body of the patient. Otherwise, it will be an unavoidable decline.
Yeah, we would definitely love to see both you and Albania in Brussels and in EU. I was watching my wife when he was commenting about marriage and EU, because she's my partner in the company, and I think she agrees, but our marriage is better than EU. Then,
but because she is part in the company.
Yeah, exactly.
Being in the company and in the marriage makes the company better and the marriage better. Because when you want to escape marriage, you go to the company. When you leave the company, you go to the marriage.
Thank you.
Imagine to be in a marriage, you are in a company, she's at home.
Yeah.
Then you would be.
I would end up being without company and without marriage.
So you are the best.
But
you are the best example for Europe to be all together and to be all entrepreneurial.
Thank you. That's a good formula.
Yeah.
I have a friend. I have a friend, professor of pathology, and she was once, we were sitting together and mobile was ringing, and she said, oh, patient is calling me. I said, really? She deals with the dead patients only. So let's move to entrepreneurship and Albania and what you do differently. We read, it was a really big story about Mira Murati, Albanian diaspora, leaving OpenAI and going entrepreneurial, what is always a big move. Being CEO is a nice thing. Very few people go out and do company and then survive. But what was different is then when she was starting, you step up. It was January or February, I think, this year. Now, only few months later, Creative Labs have valuation of $8 or $9 billion. What's your philosophy in doing that? Why you think?
Listen, in this case, it came very, very simply as an idea to make some money, and so we said it's a good idea to invest very, very little money compared to the whole sum, and I would not spend your time to tell you what the nightmare was to get this money out from the budget. You can't imagine. Oh, it's a risk. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's how we can. So a whole nightmare. But finally, we did, and now it seems that we have more money than we had when we invested. But what we are trying to do is to push the institutions and to push the ministries themselves to think in terms of making money. For example, with this nightmare of rearming and this buzz of putting more and more money for defense, it has become incredible. You know, you have all the time requests from companies all over Europe coming and saying, we have some great cars to sell, we have some great drones to sell, we have some great radars to sell, we have some great shoes to sell. It's like a big bazaar, because the entrepreneur side has understood that there are some money, so let's sell. And I said, no, we are not going to sell, we're not going to buy anything we should produce in the country. So make joint ventures, and we are telling everyone, you want to come and to buy, very well. Come, invest with us. The defense department will be part of it, and then we share the profit. Of course, you take more, we take less, but we share the profit. Or, for example, when it comes to the further step on digitalization and with the AI, we cannot have anymore an agency of innovation that is state, and the innovation happens in the private sector, of course. So now the agency is transforming in a space where the private people can be part of it, can enter and can use what is our biggest wealth, which is data, to work together with us and produce models. So this is the way we are trying to do things. There is nothing extraordinary, by the way. So when I come here to Slovenia, I understand immediately why you all complain, because everything is perfect. So your biggest enemy is boredom. While we have to fight, because there are many things that we are missing. So if we go through a list, what you have here and what you have there, you will see you are really in a very good place. But if we go through a neurologist, you are far more depressed than us. And this, I don't know how you cure, but please, not with American-like politicians, please.
Thank you. The last question, because we, in a natural way, and we are not following any script for this interview, you understand, because it's impossible. It would be stupid to prepare a script to talk with Edi Rama. But the last question is the following, because you came in a natural way to Future 500. What we don't want to do is what Europe is now doing, is finding a way to subsidize and finance the industry that are dying and should be wiped away, even through defense ideas, instead of doing what China and US is doing, feeding hungry young men, what was the title of the article of Nobel Prize winner saying, we should always find a way to create and support the guys that will create new values. That's what happened with US and China last 2 decades, and Europe was just healing the wounds. So how you see, you described what you are doing in Albania, but how you see opening the parallel highway for those that are coming and creating future, instead of feeding people that are bored, and Europe is bored, I agree, and Europe is without energy, And that's our biggest problem. While we have people that are hungry, that are not bored, but not systemically supported.
Well, it's another complex question, but to start with my natural coming here, I didn't know what is Future 500 until I arrived. I came very naturally to Bled, because since I came first time, I liked it very much, and coming to Bled is like the summer is really over, and the hard part of life is really starting. Not in Slovenia. For everyone that comes to Bled, it's like in Slovenia. What you doing for a living yourself? Politician. Yeah, it's not the best thing to do in Slovenia. I agree, because what you risk to do more damage than to do good, because it's so great. But
don't touch.
But better don't touch. You know, I'm sure if you know. Yeah. So and then I saw that we had to leave at 6 in the morning. I said, why we're leaving at 6 in the morning? You know, what happened to Bled? And they said, you have to be Future 500. What is Future 500? And then I was told, and I didn't postpone the flight. So this is true. And talking about China, America, and Europe, again, I think they are states. Europe is a federation in making, and imagine the United States if they had 27 of these funny congressmen running United States, what would have been? But no, it's not. Imagine China and so on. So
it won't be in God we trust, but God save us.
So, yeah. So I think the main problem of Europe is what direction will take. It will deepen its own way of becoming United States of Europe, or it will split in many little parts, and then everyone will choose whose satellite to become, because there is no chance that splitting and getting out of that big club to have some glorious story than just to become the satellite of others. So this is a big question that I don't have the answer. But on the other hand, Europe is the most incredible machine of bureaucracy and of administration, which can be a good thing. But on the other hand, the overproduction of regulations before even something starts. So in America, they invent the OpenAI, and in Europe they invent the regulation when someone will come and dare to go in the same direction. So this practically makes Europe much more difficult as an environment for business, much more articulated when it comes in terms of regulation, but it's a balance that Europe should find. And the last thing I want to say is that when you see this world growing and moving in a very fast speed outside of our European realm, you really wonder, why Europe is not there, why Europe was not in Tianjin, why Europe is not in Brazil. Why, I understand why, but maybe this answer should be prepared in a different way, because the fact that we have different opinions about the way of living is not a reason to close off and to say, if you want to become our friend, you have to live like us. Because like that, we risk to have less and less friends, and at the end to even lose our way of living. So we need to preserve our way of living with pride and with all we can, but to be much more open to the world and to be what Europe has always been, you know, the crossroads of where everyone wanted to pass by, not a castle where you know, you are seen through many filters to even have the chance of friendship. You know, we can be friends without being strategic, you know, allies for future wars, and this will avoid even wars, because turning Europe from a project of peace in a project of war, I don't think is really the way, because being 27 states and arming ourselves, God forbid, if the enemy will show up, we'll start to look at each other and try you know, but then try our weapons if they work or not. So this might be a room for reflection. But all this being said, after the speaking there is the doing, and in the doing I lead an army of Western European Talibans, always with Europe, whatever it takes.
Thank you.
Never disappointing. I think we can end with what you just said, or almost said. We don't want Europe of small satellites. Let's create a big spaceship.
Thank you both. Thank you, Mr. Edi Rama, and thank you, Mr. Orešković. You are superpower and very meaningful of this first event, Future 500 Forum, and you are human, not ChatGPT or bot or holograms. So thank you very much. We can all agree that your interview underlines a simple truth. When government is proactive, companies move faster, from local excellency to global flagship, and that is a winning combination.